Hi guys, Jenny here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making some classic banana loaf bread. Anyone who bakes should have a go-to recipe of a banana loaf to impress someone, and it's pretty hard to mess this one up because it's very easy. So if you want to know how to make this, just stick around and I'll show you how it's done. Now let's start baking. So I started off by peeling and mashing about 600 grams of very ripe bananas. I used up about 8 small to medium-sized ones, but you're only seeing 6 here. I later on added 2 more. So I like to use a fork and a cutting board to mash them. It's actually quite easy and relaxing. And I like to use very ripe bananas instead of the regular good-looking ones when making banana breads because they're sweeter and has a more potent flavor. If you have bananas that are pretty ripe and spotty, but you're just not ready to bake them yet, put them in a Ziploc bag, pop them in the freezer, and then you can just defrost them when you're ready to use them. The next step I did is to brown the butter in the stove. This took me about 3 minutes in total. So basically, I'm just trying to break down the butter using a fork. And then once it started to melt, I just swirl the pan around so the bottom don't burn. When it turned into this brownish golden color, I took it off the heat and just head over back to the counter. So in a big bowl, I just combined the brown sugar, white sugar, and the butter that I have melted. And then using a whisk, I just whisk them all together until they're all well combined. When the butter and the sugar looks well combined, I added in the eggs one at a time, mixing well in between each addition. So now I just added a splash of vanilla extract and just continue whisking. Now this batter is looking pretty good. I wish you could smell it. The burnt butter has a very distinct nutty and caramelly smell. It's so good. So now I pour in the banana and the milk and just continue whisking. So in a separate mixing bowl, I just combined all the dry ingredients, and that's gonna be the flour, baking soda, and salt. And then using a fork, I just stir them around until they're all well combined, just to make sure that the salt and the baking soda is well dispersed into the flour. Now I'm going to dump all of these dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, and all that's left to do is to just stir them until they're all well combined. So this next step is totally optional, but I like nuts in my loaf, so I roasted and chopped a few handful of walnut and then I added them into the mix. And I just continue stirring just until the walnut is well combined with the batter. Just make sure that you don't overmix. So the batter has come together and I'm ready to bake it. I have an 8.5 inch by 4.5 inch loaf pan that I lined with parchment paper. To be honest, it's actually ideal to bake this with a 9 by 5 inch loaf tin, but I don't have that, so I'll just make it work with what I have. The clips on the side is actually just to hold the parchment in place, but I removed them before baking. So I baked this banana bread for about 70 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit preheated oven. I checked it at the 60-minute mark, but there are still a few wet batter, so I baked it for 10 more minutes. At the 70-minute mark, there are just few moist crumbs and I knew they were done. So I let it cool for about an hour and then I sliced them and had a taste of my work. It's pretty amazing if I say so myself, so I do recommend that you try it. And if you do, please upload a picture on Instagram and on Facebook. Tag me using hashtag treatsbyjenny so I can see your work. And that's basically it. I like to enjoy this banana bread with a hot coffee while reading or watching some K-dramas. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you on my next video. Bye-bye!